There's no denying that Hersheypark has been on a major upswing. The park has been dropping major investments over the past 5 years. Actually, if we go back even further, we can see that Hersheypark has been consistently adding to their property, including a new roller coaster about every 3 years. However, it was in 2020 when this park made a groundbreaking shift by revamping their park entrance. This all came along with a brand new roller coaster, Candemonium. The enhancements didn't end there, as in 2022 we saw the transformation of their Boomerang roller coaster in Jolly Rancher Remix, plus the flat ride called Mixed, a Nebula Z model designed by Zamperla. 2023 brought about their next major roller coaster with Wildcat's Revenge. This hybrid roller coaster by Rocky Mountain Construction took the bones of Wildcat, their GCI wooden coaster, and transformed it into a world-class thrill machine that is arguably the best ride in the park. This coaster season, which is kind of an off year for the park, saw some renovations to their hypercoaster, Skyrush. The restraints, seats, and some additional theming was added into the station to provide a more satisfying ride experience. Skyrush has been known for its horrible restraints, thus the old nickname Thigh Crush. Well, the park did something about it and replaced these flawed restraints with something more in line to Pantheon or Velocicoaster. Now, there is still a rattle, especially during the first low to the ground turnaround, but the airtime moments are a lot more comfortable, and sitting on the brake run waiting to unload is a lot less painful than it was in the past. Next year, the park is already moving ahead with the addition of a Screaming Swing by SNS Worldwide. Twizzlers Twisted Gravity will be the tallest of its kind when it opens up in the summer of 2025. This giant flat ride will swing riders up to 137 feet and reach speeds of 68 miles per hour. It may not be a roller coaster, but this is a solid addition that will stir up the crowds. Outside of adding new rides, Hersheypark also brought about Dark Nights, a seasonal haunt event that, judging from the crowds when I visited the park a couple weekends ago, is a huge success. Okay, now that we covered what Hersheypark has done and what they are planning on doing next, how about we discuss even further into the future? Before we get into my predictions, please do me a favor and click on that like button. Newcomers to my channel, be sure to subscribe. So, as I said earlier, the park has been adding new roller coasters about every 3 to 5 years. With Wildcat's Revenge opening in 2023, I would guess that our next major roller coaster won't happen until the earliest 2026, latest 2028. Hersheypark currently has an excellent selection of roller coasters, I would argue one of the best in the United States. Finding their next roller coaster might be a little hard because, as some might say, how do you buy a gift for someone who has everything? Not to say that Hersheypark has everything, but they have most of their roller coaster bases covered. We have an inverted roller coaster with Great Bear, 2 hypercoasters between Skyrush and Candemonium, a launching roller coaster with Stormrunner, our RMC ejector airtime machine with Wildcat's Revenge. Fahrenheit is kind of like a mash of different coaster types, but more or less it seems to fit in with other Gerstlauer Eurofighters, mostly going off of that vertical lift. We have 2 wooden roller coasters between Lightning Racer and Comet. After that, it's a variety of family coasters to fill in the gap. I think the first coaster model that comes to mind when thinking about the future would be a dive coaster. They are quickly popping up around the country, especially as the smaller, more compact models are coming in style. The only holdback would be the proximity to Dorney Park. They opened a dive coaster this year with Iron Menace. Dorney Park is only about an hour away, not to say that Hershey couldn't get one as well, but I feel with this one being so close, it's probably out of the question. In fact, the only reason why I bring up the dive coaster is there was a rumor that was floating around a couple years ago about the park getting a dive coaster that would replace Tidal Force, but yeah, I think that was before Iron Menace, so I think it's out of the question now. How about a multi-launching roller coaster? Sure, the park has Stormrunner, but that is a hydraulic launch. Multi-launches, in general, feature a customized layout that interacts with the park property. This type of coaster would be something right up Hersheypark's alley, as most of their roller coasters interact with the terrain and surroundings. The next question would be what kind of multi-launching coaster? They are the more popular swing launch models. Something like Pantheon would definitely grab the guest's attention. Of course, you have your more traditional multi-launch, something like Velocicoaster, Cheetah Hunt, and Copperhead Strike all come to mind. Mock Rides is very good at incorporating the terrain. Just take a look at Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City. That would be a double whammy with the launches and spinning car design. I really only see the positives with these types of coasters, so I would put this higher up my list of probability. Next, family coasters have really been in style of late. And with Hersheypark gearing more towards the family, this could be a real possibility. Now, Hersheypark has a decent selection of family coasters with Coco Cruiser, Super Duper Looper, Laugh Track, Trailblazer, and Wild Mouse. If you ask me, a park can't have too many family coasters because these roller coasters appeal to a larger demographic. With our latest roller coaster being Wildcat's Revenge, an uber intense, crazy out of control kind of ride, a family coaster would serve as a nice counter-programming. With a family coaster, there are lots of varieties, including multi-launch coasters, inverted roller coasters. They basically come in all types of varieties. A wildcard option would be something like a tilt coaster. In 2025, there will be 2 new tilt coasters coming to the United States. One at Codaland and the other at Cedar Point. Depending on how well they operate and appeal to their audience, I could see these coaster models start flying off the shelves. Now, if I think that Hershey was seriously considering this coaster model, they would wait until these 2 coasters open to see how things play out. If you ask me, the tilt coaster is probably not their next option. There are plenty of other coaster models I could bring up, but if you ask me, their next coaster is going to come down to a few factors. Chances are it will be a multi-launch of some sort, but the real question will be its targeted audience. Vekoma, Mock Rides, Intamin, Gerstlauer, and even B&M are in the family roller coaster business that utilizes launches. The park has already worked with most of these manufacturers, so again, making this more of a possibility. My dream coaster would be an extreme spinning roller coaster by Mock Rides. Just imagine a roller coaster of this type weaving itself throughout Hersheypark's complicated terrain. This would make for one serious roller coaster. Now, if they decide to go with a family coaster, I think Vekoma would be the best choice. Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood has been a pretty big hit for that park. I'm sure Hersheypark has taken note. So yeah, I would say it's going to be a toss-up between some kind of multi-launch roller coaster, either be a family coaster or a more intense roller coaster like Velocicoaster, Pantheon, or hopefully Time Traveler. Again, as I said, Time Traveler would really make a good fit. I love how Hersheypark has a lot of the roller coasters that incorporate the terrain, and that's something that Mock Rides really likes to do. Well, that about does it for today's video. Tell me what roller coaster you think will be coming next to Hersheypark in the comments. Until next time, this is X Screen Thrills.